everyone, I hope you're all keeping well. Sorry, I abandoned you. I couldn't really announce it because it's a bit silly to announce the fact that you're going on holiday on the internet and such a public forum. And yeah, my husband and I, we went away to our usual place that we go to once a year, which is Lanzarote. It's such a nice area that we go to. We go to Puerto del Carmen, but we know all of the quiet bits. We know the restaurants, we know the people out there. So you can have a very lively end. They have got a typical strip. We avoid it like the plague. But generally, I know where the cheeky beaches are that the locals use. And yeah, we just go over there and it's a really good relaxation and detox. Well, I say detox, obviously a lot of alcohol was consumed. And I did remind myself whilst watching the England game that I am not 19, I am not 29, I am 39 and I am 40 in 4 months, and my lord, my hangovers, wow, I was face down on the floor for a good day. So anyway, lesson learned, stop trying to drink like you are in your 20s, because obviously, as many of you know, it's not a good idea. So we had a great time. Obviously, I was keeping, those of you that follow me on Twitter know that I was a little bit active on there. I did take my stuff. I normally take you guys on holiday with me, but one, I didn't want to advertise that I was on holiday, and two, I had been oversaturated to a point with listening to those podcasts and all of the stories that were coming out. I just wanted a break. I just wanted a week's break. But I am now back and there is so much stuff I want to cover. So I'm going to break it down in videos. There's lots of stories to cover. So let's start with one of the stories that came up that I read while I was out there, which, well, didn't irritate me, but I don't believe it. And that was that Charles has reportedly torn up everything that his mother and his father, Prince Philip, had said about Prince Edward, his youngest brother, becoming the Duke of Edinburgh. I don't believe it. It's not a palace announcement. Charles quite clearly is fond of his younger brother and his sister-in-law, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex. They would not have been elevated to such a senior role within the family if Charles didn't want Edward on the scene. And I really cannot see him treating his brother in such a way. Charles was obviously very close with both his parents and it was their wish. So Dickie Arbiter, he was the Queen's press spokesman from 1988 to 2000, and he's quashed the story. He's turned around and said, no, it's not true. It will happen, but it will happen at a later date. So if you're going to trust anyone, trust the Queen's former spokesperson, who's actually very, very well known within the royal family, compared to someone that is just trying to write clickbait articles to make people dislike Charles. And normally they can come from certain sources, or rather people that are more pro Montecito, if you know where I'm going with it. So before I get on to another big story that came out about the Zeros, oh sorry, I meant the heroes from Montecito, we've got to talk about something that near enough had me falling off my bar stool. Boom! Yes, the Princess of Wales wearing another phenomenal, mind-blowing Jenny Packham dress. I don't know whether Catherine wears Jenny Packham well or Jenny Packham wears Catherine well. I don't know, but these two, I'd say the woman with the designer and the clothes, it just equals perfection. There are so many beautiful Jenny Packham dresses. I love the green Jamaica one. I love the pink sparkly one. I love the turquoise one. Oh, that was absolutely gorgeous. And I don't even like the colour turquoise personally. I love the green maternity dress that she wore. That was at the BAFTAs, I think in, oh gosh, 2018 now. And she just looked gorgeous. Catherine, considering how ill she gets in her pregnancy, she looked absolutely mind-blowing that night. She kind of personified all of the wonderful bits about pregnancy. When they say someone glows, that's the photograph. But yes, there's been so many different phenomenal designs. I didn't think that I would ever get past the gold dress that she wore for Bond. Yes, that's another Jenny Packham one. That, to me, is still number one. But this dress has officially made it number two of the most mind-blowing dresses. So in love with the designs by Jenny Packham, I have previously mentioned that she is on my bucket list, as in, before I die, I want to go to an event where I can wear a dress like that. I'd obviously not be able to buy it, I would have rented it. but I just want to, once in my life, go to some big grand event and wear and be able to wear such a stunning, phenomenal dress, although I don't think I'll quite rock it as the Princess of Wales, but absolutely just breathtaking. She was wearing the Lover's Knot tiara as well. I did see a few people saying, oh, I hope she wears, you know, a different piece of jewellery, because this one she's obviously worn quite a lot and it was made famous by Diana as well. And I just think it worked perfectly with the dress. It was just exquisite. Now, Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, she was there. She looked absolutely beautiful. It's very rare that we see Sophie in a tiara. And then we saw Camilla, Queen Camilla, who is now wearing pieces of jewellery that were previously worn by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. And she looked beautiful. But this is all to do with the big state banquet where the President of South Africa came over. I will talk more about this in the next video because I just wanted to get through some of the big stories. And I'm sorry, this dress, as I said, near enough had me falling off a bar stool. She just looked like an angel. But like in any story, when you've got light, you've got dark, you've got angels, you've got not so angels. And that brings me on to one of the most jaw-dropping moments of a story that has come out. And this obviously is revolving around the Montecito ex-royals, but not just them, the Kennedys as well. Yes, obviously, as some of you have seen, the Kennedys have been drawn into this weird battle between light and dark. And I think that it seems to be, from what I'm reading, the nice Kennedys seem to be Team William and Catherine, and the shadier ones that have got themselves into all sorts of trouble, not paying as much money as they should from donations to charities. Yes, recently, Kerry Kennedy, who is linked to the part of the Kennedy legacy, it turns out that out of, I think it was £36 million worth of donations or contributions that they've had, they only paid out 250,000. It then becomes hardly surprising why someone like Kerry seems to think that Harry and Meghan have integrity. So it was actually something that Kerry said that had my jaw dropping to the floor, and that was, and I quote, "They went to the oldest institution in UK history and told them what they were doing wrong, that they couldn't have structural racism within the institution. I think that they have been heroic in taking this step." The thing is, though, straight away here, it's not just an institution. This wasn't just a place that they worked or were employed. This is Harry's own family that they have attacked. They have attacked at times when the family have been at their utmost vulnerable, and they are continuing to attack, and they are receiving a humanitarian award for it. It's truly unbelievable and an utter load of shite, I'll be honest. They are going to be honoured on stage by Alec Baldwin, who is basically still wrapped up in a court case, I believe, for killing someone on set. He is presenting the award to them, but also giving it to President Zelensky, who is leading his countrymen and women through a devastating war. And they're on the same level as President Zelensky. It's absolutely bizarre. Is she smoking something? Was she drunk when she said this? The fact that it came out and lots of people have questioned it, including members of her own family, and she's not. I think she's doubling down on it. She believes that Harry and Meghan are heroic and deserving of a humanitarian award because they lied and trashed their families publicly on TV for a paycheck and entertainment. Now, I'm aware that some people weren't there from the very beginning, you know, from when Harry and Meghan decided to throw that atomic bomb, which was Megxit, the royal family. They gave them no notice. They basically said that we quit, but they didn't quit. They didn't quit to start a new life. They wanted to be half in and half out. Now, what that means, half in and half out, is they still get to be treated like senior royals. They can pick and choose what events that they come to, basically anything that is huge publicity-wise, that they can be paid. Little Miss, I can't believe I'm not being paid for doing this, wanted to be paid to be a working royal, receive all of the privileges while still earning billions from commercial deals, from endorsements, from business ventures, basically cash for access, all sorts of things. So the Queen turned round and said, No, you either commit to a life of service and duty and absolute luxury at the taxpayer's dime, or you leave, you lose everything, and you go do your own business ventures. That is when the stories started coming out. The stories then started coming out how they were pressured, they were show ponies, Meghan and Harry near enough burnt out. And then when they got told no, they still weren't getting their list of demands, because they did a further list of demands. The Queen doesn't own the word royal. We will be treated as internationally protected people, basically taxpayer funded security for life by every country that they go to. Yes, this was the cheek and the level that their demands went to. But when, after Sandringham Summit, they were then told no, then the stories got more and more fantastical. And it was only when they finally, financially, were not cut off, Charles turned around and paid them millions to set themselves up in the USA. This is something that some people are not aware of. Charles only stopped the money after they had lived in America, they were in Montecito. Charles eventually turned around and said, right, I've given you a couple of million, you're on your own 2 feet now. That's when Oprah happened. That's when the stories of racism first surfaced, because it has been one big revenge story. And I would take a guess that most of it, if not all of it, is completely fictional. It's like a teenager that calls childline because their mums told them that they have to do their homework before they can play on the computer games. Do you know what I mean? That is the sort of level of what they have done to the royal family. They wanted a list of demands. They tried to blackmail them. The Queen called their bluff. So then they went on the rampage. Charles has then not given in to them, so now they are going on the rampage. They are like children that never grew up. All of the worst childish traits that you hope your children grow out of, Harry and Meghan embrace, and they have commercialised on it, and they're actually trying to sell it to generations. You never have to feel guilty for behaving badly. You never have to feel bad. Everything is always someone else's fault. You never, ever, ever take on any responsibility for any choices that you make. That is a generation, sadly, that we do seem to see a lot of in this modern day and age. One of the things that I can't get my head around with people like Kerry and people that actually fall for their lies and their manipulation and, as I said, this big temper tantrum and attack because they didn't get their own way, is I don't understand how people don't question, well, hang on a minute. One, you wanted half in and half out. Two, you named your child after, at the time, you know, the matriarch of the family, the Queen. Why would you do that? You didn't just name her like her second name, her third name, as some children have. No, you chose the Queen's most personal nickname that isn't actually a name. It was the Queen's nickname and called your daughter that. This racist institute that near enough drove Meghan to suicide because no one would help them. Meghan had her passport and her keys taken away from her. She was locked in a tower. She wasn't allowed to see friends. All of the crap that she came out with on Oprah's couch, and you've named your daughter after the woman who is head of that institute, or, as Harry seems to forget, his family. They continuously want to be known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. They don't just demand the titles for themselves, they want their children, who they are bringing up as American citizens, away from the royal fishbowl and all the awful genetic suffering that Harry went through. But they are fighting for their children to be called Prince and Princess, in a country that does not have a royal family, that actually had a war to abolish their links to the royal family. And they want their children to grow up in that country with people calling them Prince and Princess. Are you thinking of them or yourselves? Or your bank balance? I think we all know the answer to that one. Now, that one of the other things which I just find laughable, Harry is the only member of that royal family in my generation that I've grown up and I have seen that has been racist, openly racist, that has done the most shocking things, from calling insults, I won't repeat them, but insults to various different friends on numerous occasions, this is, to the famous fancy dress party where he wore a particular uniform. And again, the worst bit of it is they talk of the structural racism from within the oldest institution. Well, let's not dress it up. That's Harry's family. That was Harry's grandparents, Harry's brother, Harry's sister-in-law, his father, his aunties, his uncles. Yet Harry and Meghan, for cold, hard cash, have accused Harry's family on TV for entertainment as being racist. and caused all sorts of problems for the royal family. It has stirred up so much racial tensions and racial divisions, all because of this one story that was told on Oprah's couch. And that was that a family member, and I'd like to point out Harry and Meghan gave two different versions of events that Oprah never thought to question once. This awful racist institute, this awful family that they had to escape from that has caused so much heartache, they, well, an unknown member of the family, dared to question what a future child, because it was Harry that told the story first. It was before they were married, so before Meghan was pregnant, of what a pale-skinned, ginger-haired man's baby might look like marrying a biracial woman. But let's be honest here. People with blonde hair and blue eyes have a baby with someone that has got black hair and green eyes. People go, oh, I wonder what features the babies will have. You know, if you have children, what they're going to look like. It's a natural thing to say. But Harry and Meghan are now receiving a humanitarian award for fighting structural racism because a family member dared to wonder what features their future baby might have. That is absolutely insane. That conversation is just absolutely no reason to accuse anyone of racism. It's bizarre. This family that they are attacking, or an institution as Kerry calls it, this family welcomed her. They fast-tracked her. Quicker than what they did Catherine. They gave her millions to spend on clothes, jewellery, holidays. Her friends were included in some of those. She had absolute luxury, beauty treatments. She had access to absolutely anything she wanted. She had enough security that would probably make a president blush. The future king, who is our king now, walked her up the aisle. Her wedding to Harry cost just as much as the future monarch and his queen consort. Yes, Meghan and Harry's wedding cost near enough the same amount as Catherine and William's, who are going to be king and queen consort one day. Meghan overnight was elevated into the highest society. She became one of the most privileged and elitist women, dripping in diamonds and couture. These are the very people that she and Harry are accusing of deep structural racism. So Kerry has left many people, myself included, scratching my head when she said, you know, that they've been fighting against this structural racism. Well, what fighting have they actually done apart from sitting on Oprah's couch for a paycheck and say, someone dared ask what our baby might look like in the future? That's it, because they've not brought up anything else. They were too scared to even name the said royal racist, because by naming no one, they knew that it would cover everyone, because everyone had their own suspicions of who it could be. It could be Charles, it could be Camilla, it's probably Catherine, oh, it's Princess Anne, oh no, it's one of the other royals. They did a very sneaky thing when they did that. So they, as I said, they're like children that throw pebbles at someone and then duck behind the wall. They are cowards, they are bullies, and most importantly, they are liars. Over 17 lies in that Oprah interview. From being married 3 days before, the spectacle for the world, to Archie's security being stripped, to them being cut off financially, Meghan's passport and her keys being taken away from her, her friends not being allowed to see her. She had so many holidays. She was probably on more personal holidays than she ever worked actual royal engagements. Yet the lie that people ran with, and the one that's caused the most problems from all of this, despite everything else being proven to be untrue, complete fabrication, is the one where the royal family have suddenly become this racist institute. And it just doesn't make sense. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is what you see. Meghan is the only person that's turned around and said this. Yet you can see no problem with all the other lies that she's clearly told and continues to do so on her podcast. They went on TV, a celebrity interviewer's couch, and publicly attacked their own families, knowing that they couldn't defend themselves or argue back publicly. They are the royal family, not the Kardashians. They weren't going to appear on Oprah's couch a week later and defend themselves. And Harry and Meghan knew it. That's why they did it, because they knew what they could get away with. I'll be honest, I think Jerry Springer would have had more integrity, for the simple fact, at least on Jerry Springer, you know, the person would be telling their story and the audience would be boo, oh, then you get ding dong, the doorbell would go, the bouncers would get ready on stage, start pulling the chairs away in case a fisticuff was about to happen, and then you would have the people that were being accused come out and either throw a chair at someone or give them a slap, you know. But that's the thing. Oprah, Harry and Meghan threw so much stuff at the royal family knowing that they had no way of defending themselves. The Queen did something which is going to be historical, and Meghan will never live it down, and that is recollections may vary. And the fact that the Queen of England has turned around and said that it really wasn't true, yet Kerry is further tarnishing her family's legacy now. Giving this award to Harry and Meghan for what they've done to their families for a paycheck shows her lack of integrity as well as judgment. I've said it before on previous videos and I'm going to say it again. Harry and Meghan winning awards for kindness, compassion, service, duty or humanitarianism is the same as Hannibal Lecter receiving an award for promoting veganism. So that's it for me, guys, on this video. I will be back with you really soon. I promise I'm not getting on a plane. Anyway, guys, take care for now. I'll see you soon. Bye.
If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.